This week I played around with the offsets on my stock class Mini Z. Let's dive into it. This is the car that I run in the stock class. It started out its life as a C8 Corvette ready set, which came with a +3 offset. So I did go ahead and get PN wheels to get the traction discs, and I kept the +3 offset because I figured that wider would be better. But I recently went to SpareTime and got my butt handed to me by a guy that was running 2 offset. So naturally, I wanted to try that out. So I went ahead and snagged the PN wheels, the same set that I had, just with the 2 offset in the rear. And then because I do run the 19mm up front, I had to get the 1.5 offset because for some reason the fronts go in that 1.5 increment if you're going with the 19mm wheel. I guess if anything, that should just help give it even more front end. So I bought those wheels, and at the next race up at Area, I went ahead and got there as early as I could to get some track time in and do a comparison on A, how they felt, and B, what the times looked like. So I went out with my normal setup, which was the +3 in the rear with the 19mm plus 2.5 in the front. I did about a 5-minute session, and my best lap was a 10.344. I usually just go off fastest laps in practice sessions because we have people running driver's cars, people running mod cars and blowing you off the track. It's just too much going on to really judge by pace, I think. So I just look at the fastest lap, and I do my best to make sure that I know I got like a few clean laps in that I feel good about. And then I switched the tires onto the wheels so that way I had the same tires and not a new set on the new wheels. Obviously I was trying to control the variables here, so I just ran the same tires and same set of batteries, and I went down to a 10.065. Now the biggest thing that I noticed was with the narrower setup, the car really wanted to hop. So it kind of hopped in the front end a lot on corner entry, and I did notice that some of that was due to my pretty aggressive corner entry style. Like I tend to just kind of get there and crank it in, especially when you're running those PN tires. They have so much front end on the Mini Zs that it's kind of fun. You can really dive bomb the corners. The other benefit to that is it makes it hard for people to get around you because you're not really running a typical line that everybody else runs. Regardless, that driving style kind of seemed like it created a lot of front hopping, so I had to kind of ease up, get a little bit wider entry, a little wider line, and try to roll speed more than just dive bombing the corners like I had been. But that could be part of why it was faster, was because it was forcing me to drive a little bit cleaner and a little bit smoother with my input. That said, I mean, a gain of 0.3 is pretty good, and those sessions were basically the amount of time it took for the batteries to charge apart, so I don't think the conditions changed too much. And then just for laps, I did one more test in the practice session where I took my best set of Gen Ace batteries and ran that with the new setup just to see what the time comparison was between the PN batteries and the Gen Ace, and the difference was actually pretty surprising. Again, my best time for the offset testing was a 10.065, and that was on the PN HP900 battery. And then when I swapped back over to the Gen Ace, I got a 10.2, so I lost 0.2. Now that night I happened to be very competitive on pace with the leaders. I ended up 3rd in that class. I know this kind of sounds like a cop-out, but I'm a morning person. I usually wake up at 4, so by 8, 9 p.m. I'm getting pretty tired. I had a lot of trouble keeping it clean. Now I do think some of that was due to this new setup. I think this new setup's faster, but you have to keep it cleaner because it punishes erratic driving. Like if you turn in late and kind of crank on the steering, or if you are on the throttle a little bit too late coming into the corner, this setup seemed to punish those tendencies more than it did with the +3 offset. Because I had the pace of the leaders, and I do admit I think my focus was a little down, but I had the pace of the leaders and I just wasn't able to keep it clean enough to hang with them. But that got me thinking, because I honestly thought most people ran a 3 offset. I know online I've always heard that that's the one you should get, and that's why they encourage people to buy like the Audi R8 or the Corvette ready sets, because they have that +3 offset in the box. But that was a fun experiment, and I think I'm honestly going to keep running the 2 offset for a little while and just see how it goes. To me, the affordability of doing experiments like this is part of why I love Mini Z racing. Those wheels are $8 for a pair, so that's 16 bucks to run this experiment. If I hate it, I'm out 16 bucks, and I could probably just keep them around in case I ever feel the need to run them, or maybe pawn them off to somebody else. But I'll definitely be doing more experiments like this because I love nerding out over the details and finding the speed and all these little subtle differences. But I'm curious, let me know what offset you guys are running on your stock Mini Z setups, and I'd also like to know why you came to that. Was that what your car came with out of the box? Did somebody recommend it to you, or did you actually like experiment and come to that? Now, I'm not hating on you if you didn't do any research, if you just were told to get that, because that's what I did for a while. But it's really interesting to see the people at the track. Some people just have an insane natural raw speed, and some people have really done a lot of testing and tuning and dialing things in to find their speed. But anyways, let me know down in the comments below, and if you're new here, subscribe to the Mini Z Racers for all things Mini Z Racing.